Okay, so yes, I got my hair in a braid throughout the evening. And then I'm gonna maybe cook something in a little bit. So I've been thinking recently about everything. Someone told me something really nice. They said that I'm the nicest person, and this, and that I'm always really nice and thoughtful, and that I know. That I know about myself. I know I'm a very nice person, and I realized something. Like any situation where somebody makes you feel like, oh, like on the daily, like you don't know, like, did I do something wrong? Like, was I rude to someone? No, you're not. Like, if somebody doesn't talk to you, I just don't talk to them because I'm not, like, look at this. I'm not a social butterfly. And just in certain situations, if it goes back and forth and there's no consistency, then that's kind of your answer, because I believe loyalty is everything in this lifetime. Like, you have to be loyal in all interactions. You have to be consistent in all interactions. If it can go different ways on the day that someone just is rude to you or ignores you, that's your answer. Then you know that's how they think, and you're like, okay, well, like, you can be nice to everybody, but not everybody's gonna be your friend, and just don't take it to heart. And like, to me, this is how I deal with things. I go quiet on my Western front. I don't talk. Like, I don't need to be like, I'll talk to people that are nice to me. Hi. I'll talk to people who actually are thoughtful. But I don't force myself to talk to everybody, and I don't force myself to talk all the time, because I actually think it's kind of sexy and interesting and nice when people can withhold their thoughts a bit more. Like, if you need to talk to everybody all the time, it really doesn't mean anything. Like, I understand talking to people to some degree, but let's not do it all the time. Let's, like, maybe be more selective about it, and that's okay. So yeah, if you're not a chatty Cathy and you're like, some days some people talk to you and other days they don't, it's not you, and it's okay to go quiet on your Western front. Like, strong people are quiet. Like, they don't need to be chattering away all the time. But that's all I want to say about my thoughts on that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is coronavirus. Because I know, like, this channel is all about long hair and everything, but coronavirus is kind of changing, like, life right now. And to be honest with you, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I have a lot of concerns about like the whole stay in place thing. I'm glad you love my hair, thank you. I'm sorry that I wasn't responding to my comments a minute ago. The whole stay in place thing, it's a little concerning to me. And here's why. Because businesses are what drive our economy. The government doesn't drive our economy, okay? Like, I know people are like, well, we can get a stimulus package and we can do all this and that. Well, here's the thing. The government doesn't drive our economy. Our economy, especially in California, is driven by the service industry, by restaurants, by entertainment. You shut these places down because, yes, I know we want to try and cut the spread of the virus, but keep in mind, it's going to spread. And this is another thing that's bothering me too, is I'm not saying that it's privileged to be shelter in place, but if you can self-isolate right now, it's kind of privileged. Do you want to know why? because not everybody has that, like, look, I don't really care if you have that privilege, it's great. If you can, yeah, do it. But a lot of us have to work and we have to go into the outside world. Like, you can't, not everybody can just stay home and do everything from home. And it's just funny that California went from one day being like the most social, outgoing, interactive place to, oh, like, I get it, it's a health recommendation, stay in place and shelter in place and just like bans on gatherings, and it's supposed to slow the curve, but we don't know everything about coronavirus. I'm not going to say much more about it because I'm not a scientist and I can't tell you. But even right now, the scientists every day, like, we're learning new things. Like they said, it primarily impacts the elderly, but there are people in their 40s and 50s that are getting the coronavirus. There are people in their 50s who died from the coronavirus. So it's not just old people, like middle-aged people that didn't have many, immunocompromised conditions also contracted it. And we can sanitize everything, and we should, and we can keep social distance, and we can do that, but what is the economic repercussion? And another thing is, like, people have to go out and make things, they have to farm, they have to, like, whether you be a vegan, which I tend to be, or non-vegan, there are people that have to work in these industries. They can't always do social distancing. Like, do you see, this is why I think a lot of the social distancing, there's some privilege to it. Like, people who can do that to some degree are privileged because, and this is not even a socioeconomic thing, it's just, if you have the privilege to stay home and you don't have to go out and work in an industry where you help people, that's a privilege. And I don't hate anybody for that, but just keep in mind, not everybody can do that. A lot of people can't. And situations like this really, it kind of just brought that home to me, because the grocery store workers, they need their income. A lot of people need their income, and they can't just stay home. They're being slammed, and the panic buying is just, it's kind of weird. Like, I get it, everybody's worried about shelter in place, so they're panic buying, but the stores made a mistake. They shouldn't have just let everybody run for the shelves and take everything. So that was, I'm happy to see the stores are mediating that right now. They're actually giving the elderly, people that have disabilities and pregnant women chances to shop first. And honestly, like, the situation really changes how I feel. I have much, like, I've always worried about those populations, but now I'm just like, I'm not saying that I don't like the ideas of libertarianism, because I do still think civil liberties have value, but I do question its validity, like, completely at this point. Like, it's not that I want to be a Democrat or a Republican. I think I'm just more of an independent voter right now, because I think we need government and we need business. Like, we can't do it without either. We do need some safety net for people, but on the same token, we need to acknowledge that businesses drive our economy. It's not the government. And yes, taxes can be too high, I think, but right now, like, that's not even an issue anymore. It kind of makes me think, like, la-da-da-da-da-da, like, all these people, like, on the other end of the spectrum, like, thought, oh, we need more, like this and that, like, the Bernie Sanders crowd, like, what were they complaining about? Really? Life was pretty good before coronavirus. I hate to say it, but maybe all the things we've been complaining about were just peanuts. Maybe they were just flipping peanuts. Does that sound like, like, everybody's like, oh, we need more of this, more of that. Maybe life was really good before corona. I don't know what to say. And I'm not saying it's not going to be good anymore, but maybe this situation will make us realize, like, do we need to be so, like, divided? I have to say one good thing, like, nothing really good has come out of this coronavirus, but maybe one good thing is maybe Republicans and Democrats can stop tearing each other to the bits. Maybe they can do that. And I'm not saying that I don't have a problem with stimulus, because I think we do need that. Besides, we paid into it taxes. I just don't think after this situation, and I had always, like, I dabbled in things, okay? Like, I was a big Democrat for years and years and years. And really, honestly, after a time, I began to question that because of the way the Democratic Party ran itself and how it's become like this cult and this religion where if you don't do everything that they do, then you're not a good person. Because that's kind of like how the Democratic Party makes you feel, really. Like, if you don't, like, support Hillary, if you don't do this. So I was like, I don't want to be a Democrat anymore. So I started exploring libertarianism. And I agree with them on certain things, but the practicality of doing away with all social safety nets, especially after this, like, it's kind of something that I wasn't 100% comfortable with. So, like, I guess this situation helped me really coalesce how I feel. I think what we need to acknowledge is this. We do need government in place for social safety nets. We do need some sort of, like, I hate to say it, I don't love taxes, but we need some sort of revenue to come in. We need some sort of structure in our society, especially after this. Like, I can tell you now, with the way I see things going, there is no way that we could function in a completely libertarian society. That is one thing this situation has showed me that, and I know that now, 100%. I still do think libertarianism has validity in talking about civil liberties. They are talking about how shelter in place is unconstitutional in some ways. And that's one thing I think we do need to acknowledge. Like, there is some unconstitutionality to, like, potentially, like, arresting people if they don't want to stay home. Like that, because I guess they're talking about now, like, up in San Francisco and other areas that have shelter in place, like, if you don't follow the order, that there may be mass arrests. And here's the thing too, who are the people that are going to be out patrolling outside? Like, if we're supposed to be shelter in place, like, are they going to have a whole bunch of, like, law enforcement officials? Like, supposedly we're worried about, like, containing this virus, but they're going to be out risking their lives to random people who might be violating that order. And then just, like, police state and martial law and all these things. But I don't want to go down that hole because it can get pretty negative pretty quick. And maybe this will all blow over. But I guess the one thing that showed me about the situation is life isn't as bad as I think. I think Democrats have a lot of problems. I think Republicans have a lot of problems pre-coronavirus. I think they have a lot of wrong on both sides of the divide. I think they're both very bureaucratic and both very pro-pet projects, depending on which one is theirs. I don't think either is gospel. I think libertarians have some good ideas on maybe lowering the tax code, because I think we could go back to more of a, like, tax codes that, you know, the amount of taxes we paid in previous generations. I don't think we need to keep hiking up the tax. I don't think we need to pass a new tax every year in California to make schools, like, high state-of-the-art technology. Now they're saying everybody needs to do homeschooling. Not everybody has Wi-Fi. I have internet because I've been a blogger for years, but a lot of people are like, I can't work from home because I don't have the internet. And that's where, like, libraries and places like this come into play, because some people don't have Wi-Fi. I mean, and right now, who's going to be going out and hooking up Wi-Fi? We are much more reliant on each other in the society than I ever realized. So when I was grappling between libertarianism, democratic, because I tend to be more on, I would say, if I was, like, libertarian curious, it was more on the, like, metro libertarian, like, kind of liberal side of the spectrum, where I just thought, you know, I like what the libertarians have to say about civil liberties, but they have a good point about diminishing the tax code. Like, I kind of was in support of that, but still maybe, like, pro social safety nets. I don't think we need to be taxed out of Kingdom Come or anything, but I think things in our society were much better than we all let on. And I think the Bernie Sanders crowd, to be honest with you, like, I'm not on board with what they want. Like, they just want, like, more, I don't know, socialization of things. And let's be honest, it is, I mean, there have been democratic socialists in the United States since the early 1900s. That's reality. Like, the 1930s, like, let's be honest, the Communist Party was very popular within the Democratic Party. There were people in FDR's cabinet that visited Russia. Like, being a Democrat and a communist was almost kind of synonymous at that time. The New Deal had benefits and drawbacks. It wasn't as horrible as people thought, but it wasn't the godsend that people thought either. But yes, like, I don't know, I don't have the answers, but here's the thing, like, my mind has changed about things because life evolves, and I'm not saying I'm going back to how I felt like maybe 6 years ago. I think I just will be more independent, but I think this coronavirus has made me realize that there's a little bit of truth on all sides. There's nobody, I haven't met anybody that has a good rational answer for everything. Nobody. Like, there's nobody who has, like, is putting that out there, which at the end of the day shows you need everybody, because nobody has the answer. Can I be honest with you? That's the flippin' truth. Nobody has the full answer. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle. So yes, we're all individuals, but that's how we're a community, because nobody can fix this on their own. But at the end of the day, no stimulus package is going to undo what the coronavirus is doing to the economy in California. And as much as everybody kind of like is a Debbie Downer in California, our economy drives this country. Our economy drives this country. So if our economy goes down the deep end, it's really going to impact other states. And yes, they're having a little bit of the coronavirus too. So I'm no expert on coronavirus. I can't tell you things about coronavirus. But I'm just telling you things I've read and things I've seen. And when you're walking the city streets, because, you know, I'm a pedestrian, I have to walk. But I also have been reading that it's good to build up your respiratory system and to be as active as possible in combating this coronavirus. Like, in not being, and yes, I do social distancing. I try to stay away from people as much as possible, but when you work with the public, you can't just be in a bubble. And all of a sudden, everybody wants to be in a bubble, but there is some privilege to that bubble. There is some privilege we have to acknowledge to that bubble, because not everybody can be in the bubble. And even if you stay home and you order things online, somebody has to touch those things and package them. And when I read that in the Amazon warehouse in Italy, 3 people contracted the coronavirus and they refused to shut down that facility and sanitize it and told everybody to wear a mask. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, okay, I know, like, they're saying that they're reporting all the coronavirus cases here in the United States, but there are some people following the story that say no. Like, they're not going to release all the details to you, and that there's a little bit more. There are more people who are coming down with it. Plus, guess what? You're not supposed to go to the doctor. So we don't even know how many people are out there just carrying it around. But everybody acts like you have the plague. This is another worry I have too, is that people are going to use this as an excuse to treat people bad. Like, they're going to use this as an excuse to treat people bad. And what are you supposed to never take something out of someone's hand and tell them to put it over there? Because you can't do that all the time. And the grocery store workers don't have to do that. So why would I flip and do that to somebody? I'm not going to be that person. You want to be that person? You want to live in your bubble? Go ahead. But that's, I don't know. I think we're going to lose a lot of humanity with this whole social. I get it. You need to stay away from people to some degree. But we don't float through the air. There's some things about this that just economically we have to acknowledge. Maybe we can do this for 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe we can do this for a month. But if it goes into 2, 3, 4, 5 months, there is a repercussion in the food supply chain, with stores being cleared out, with our farms going to function the way they did. And yes, it's going to impact dairy products big time. Second, like, the non-dairy milks last longer, but they're starting to be impacted too. I've never seen people buy the non-dairy milks. They, like, maybe lactose intolerant and vegan curious people, but now everybody's starting to clear out the dairy products. If you order Instacart, it used to come in a couple hours. It takes 9 hours to come now, and they won't deliver toilet paper. So now you have to figure out, do you want to see what you can use for toilet paper if you run out in a couple days? I'll show you what I found. I'll be right back. I mean, if you're lucky enough to find this, I went to a couple of party stores and I found dinner napkins. So I found some. I don't know. I think they're a ripoff. I'm not going to buy them anymore. So my thought is, like, on just cutting up stuff and throwing it away if we run out of toilet paper, because you can't find any toilet paper in the city. And yes, I guess I could run up to the store right now and try and be in the line. I can't do that. I have to leave soon. But I want to keep posting on my YouTube channel, because here's the thing, like, I love long hair and I love sharing the passion of long hair and all that jazz. But also too, I like to talk on my channel, and I did say that this was going to be an unedited space where I would post a lot of opinions, because this is the long hair unedited experience. Because that's me. Like, I do like an edited video here and there, but I still want to be myself, keep it real. Some people, I think they kind of post things to their Insta stories more that are not edited, but I would rather post it here to YouTube because it's my channel. And the thing that has given me clarity on this is I'm gonna do me. Like, whatever I post on YouTube, I don't care if it's perfection. I believe in that more now. I feel better when I start sharing on my YouTube channel. That might sound silly, but to be honest with you, like, I have a few friends I can talk to in daily life, but on a daily basis, like, I'm polite to people, but I'm not a big socializer. So I don't know, like, I feel like YouTube's fun because it gives me an outlet, and that's another thing right now that people are talking about, is we can use the internet as a way to socialize. But in a way, I've been doing that forever because I vlog. So yeah. Anyway, so that's just a thought, like, just sharing some of my thoughts. Anyway, thanks for watching.